I did not expect this at all.
Why Making a Meaning? Fun and experimental place to learn.
It's a solid bridge to that next step.
Because there's a lot of creative people.
You get to learn from some of the most talented artists and architects in Los Angeles.
Like a perfect mixture of pressure while also having fun.
Hi, my name is William Virgil. I am the coordinator of Making a Meaning, and today we are at SCI-Arc at the Making a Meaning exhibition. As soon as you step in the gallery, the first thing that you see is the room from my section image. In that, you're going to be able to see the work of the students. The brief of Making a Meaning this year tackles mirrors as the reflection of the unknown. We task the participants to tap into our ideas of what is the understanding of ourselves.
Old me should definitely join Making a Meaning because it dived into so much softwares that I didn't even hear about. It's a complete another language that is kind of coding, but also in a visual aspect. I learned how to use ZBrush, C4D, as well as Illustrator and all those Adobe softwares. I learned how to start from an AI image by Midjourney and then compose some elements that you can't really see it in from the big picture. I'm just overall grateful that I joined the program because it was a great section to just explore.
Something that really surprised me with these tools was how much you could do with it. For example, you want to extrude something, then you really choose the point you want to extrude. So it's basically doing pottery, but in a software, which I really liked. And you could use this piece to make your images and your story more powerful. I think for the first time, I didn't feel restricted in my creative process. So I felt that was extremely rewarding and fun.
We're at the Making a Meaning exhibition and my section was JPEG. My section was about how architects use their tools and how versatile that can be, and also not to be afraid of those tools. It's really exciting for students to experience from production to execution.
The JPEG section, I really enjoyed seeing how you can create a drawing just from words and from systems, and then to see it being drawn on the floor by the robot arm, that was really cool as well.
In the JPEG section, we learned to take a digital representation and move it very quickly and efficiently into a physical space. We used a LiDAR scanner to create another kind of representation of the space, and then we were also able to simulate that in the digital software. So to see that parallel between the real space and the digital space, that was very cool.
The JPEG is the most prolific file format of the last 20 years. And so the idea was to think about, now that we enter the world of AI more and more, the prompt might become a more important medium. The architect prompts people, shares plans, and realizes its vision through communication.
I come from an architecture background, so I have used Grasshopper. It's really hard as a student to see something on the computer and realize it. Using the robot and seeing the laser and seeing the order of things, it really changes from going on your simple screen to real life.
The name of my section was Kinetic. Our section was an exercise in form finding and animation, color theory, and composition exercises.
The best part was probably watching the animation come together once the images had started rendering themselves and watching it come alive.
So we used Adobe Aero, which is an augmented reality software. Students were able to bake a version of their animated form and bring it to virtual reality and play around with it in different scales.
It was probably the most challenging because we were working with Cinema 4D. That was a really tough thing for me to just wrap my head around, but it was really rewarding. It finally clicks and you start to understand how the relationships work.
For my project, I created this metaphorical interplay between two seemingly contrasting things. I assembled them in a different way to create something, and then animating that and adding color that just furthers this expression.
In the line section, it was very nice to create something as a team, and that is something different from the other sections because you were working by yourself in your own projects.
So with the line section, I mostly learned to do something really quick and then just stick to it and trust my instinct and my creative process to end up with something that's super great, super fresh, and really new.
In the line section, I was very surprised by the community we found there. The time I really got to get to know a lot of the other students at SCI-Arc. Oftentimes, we'd be up in the computer lab working on our Rhino files or rendering in C4D, and then we got to know each other pretty well. Also, we helped each other all the time with very basic things because everybody was coming from different levels of experience. There's some people who did this for a job and other people who'd only done drawing in school.
On one side of the wall, when you walk in, you're going to see the long stitched simultaneous elevation that the students worked on. Students worked with a series of tiled prints that got hand-drawn between. We digitized those, rendered, brought them back into the analog, and then eventually digitized them again. Each student had to respond to another student's line. It's a lot of work, but the point is really to pay homage to the sheer amount of process that we did.
I would almost say it's my favorite program at SCI-Arc.
I was in Making a Meaning last year. I had a really great time, and that's why I'm back this year.
The students really develop a lot of strong relationships, and from there I think they also develop a lot of strong technical skills.
Making a Meaning introduces students to this idea of how do I come up with something out of nothing. And then when all that comes together, it's an amazing world of creative content that none of us were able to foresee.
I feel lucky to be in LA, really close to an opportunity like this, so I was really glad to be able to take that.
That's one thing that's amazing about SCI-Arc is spreads your wings a little bit.